today's last plenary session. Today we have the very well-renowned personality, Dr. Rajesh Parikh sir, who is the director at India's best sophisticated instrumentation center for the applied research testing research center, which is well known by their name SICART. Rajesh Parikh sir is associated with the SICART as a honorable director since February 2021. SICART is one of the 15 sophisticated analytical instrument facility center in the country that are funded by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Out of 15 SAFE center, SICART is the only SAFE center that is managed by the non-government organization, which is the well-known and reputed trust, Charutar Vidya Mandal. Sir, congratulate for that. SAFE SICART is funded since 1998. Presently, there are 15 SAFE centers functioning across the country, and they are located as the map given below. Here, there is the SICART center. Location name is the Vallabh Vidyanagar. Parikh sir was associated with Gujarat Technological University as a founding director of Graduate School of Pharmacy, Ahmedabad. He was as a member of Academic Council and Research Council of Gujarat Technological University, and also as a member of Doctorate Research Committee of Faculty of Pharmacy at Gujarat Technological University. In his credit, he is having 2 Indian patents as a co-inventor and about 35 research publications in various international and national journals. Before joining the Gujarat Technological University, sir was worked as a professor, principal and a dean at the Ramanbhai Patel College of Pharmacy, Charuset, Changa. He was the founder principal of Ramanbhai Patel College of Pharmacy and was associated with it for a period of 12 years from 2004 to 2016. He was associated as a member of governing body of Charuset. He was associated in the establishment of Charuset Hospital, as well as PhD program of the Charuset. He started his academic journey from 1983, before my born, at AR College of Pharmacy and GH Patel Institute of Pharmacy, Vallabh Vidyanagar from 1983, and he is having the 21 years of experience at AR College of Pharmacy. AICT awarded 2 projects to AR College of Pharmacy, for which he was associated as the chief coordinator and principal investigator. He was also instrumental in establishing IPA, Indian Pharmaceutical Association branch, Vallabh Vidyanagar, at AR College of Pharmacy. During his tenure at AR College of Pharmacy, he was associated with the Sardar Patel University as a chairperson of Board of Studies and as a member of Faculty of Pharmacy, Academic Council and Senate member. He also worked as a treasurer and joint secretary of Sardar Patel University Area Teacher Association, which is known as the SPUATA. He is an alumnus of Pharmacy Department at the MS University of Baroda for B.Pharm and M.Pharm program. He was awarded PhD by the Gujarat University for his research work on liposome drug delivery system under the guidance of former principal of LM College of Pharmacy, Dr. Bhanuben Trivedi. Under his eminent guidance, many PG students and 7 PhD students completed his research work. So we heartily welcome you, sir, in our faculty development program. Now session is open for you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Naitik, for this wonderful introduction. Before I just begin, I think let me have a little few moments to share the presentation, and then I will start talking. please. Uh, Dr. Naitik, my presentation is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once again, Dr. Naitik, thank you very much for this wonderful introduction. Uh, in fact, when it comes to the AR College of Pharmacy, I always consider it as my duty since I've started my academic journey from this institution. And whenever there is a call, I try my level best to fulfill it. Uh, I also thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share few of my viewpoints on this subject matter. Uh, I, in fact, was trying to decipher the title of this Atal Faculty Development Program, which is sponsored by AICT, that is the redesigning pedagogy, educating for innovation and fostering for society. Uh, Before I go further with this decipher of the theme of the faculty development program, Dr. Naitik has already said about uh, the institution with which I am currently associated, that is a sophisticated analytical instrumentation facility, which is supported by the Department of Science and Technology. Uh, and our institution is known as Sophisticated Instrumentation Center for Applied Research and Testing, that is SICAT. I invite all participants, particularly I understand that this FDP program covers a wide range of participants across the technical education, which includes pharmacy, engineering, management, and everything under the domain of AICT. But those who are related with the chemical sciences and those who are related with the pharmaceutical sciences, those who are related with the use of sophisticated instruments like transmission electron microscope, scanning electron microscope, NMR, LCMS, MS Tech. We have all such facilities, and please do visit our website, which is already there on the screen. And it will be a pleasure to serve you all. And please feel free to ask any queries related to CCAT subsequently through the email address which Dr. Naitik will share with you. Of course, as far as this session is concerned, we will have an emphasis only on the topic which we are discussing, which is assigned to me. When Dr. Naitik requested me for this, I was a little in a puzzle that in the domain of education, what I will speak. And then I came across one editorial in a newspaper, and based on that editorial, I thought of selecting this as a topic of my talk, that is the experiential learning, uh, with, of course, a specific emphasis on the technical education. Uh, As a matter of fact, when I joined AR College of Pharmacy way back in 1983, immediately after completion of my MPharm program, uh, I was not aware with the word even pedagogy, which is a part of the theme of this FDP. This FDP is talking about redesigning pedagogy. And then gradually it made me to think that when a teacher joins school education as a teacher, uh, there was a prerequisite, obviously, what we know is a B.Ed program. That means a person before entering the education system has to undergo a training, undergo a, you can say, a program and earn a degree before becoming a teacher. Uh, so was not the case, or so is not the case even as on today for entering the technical education or the medical education, or for that matter, even at any college level education. Uh, these deficit, uh, because we as such are not exposed to any overall domain of the education in general. Uh, I was deputed by our institution uh, for a training program at Bhopal. That those days it was known as the TTE, Technical Teachers Training Institution at Bhopal. And there I came to know about the pedagogy and the other aspects related to the teaching process, related to the teaching learning process. So I believe that such FDPs have some special space uh, for we as the teachers. Uh, coming to before I go for a little discussion part, I'll be little sharing few slides which will look very preliminary. Uh, but I believe that to form a basis of that discussion, uh, it will be a little easy for us if I just read out from some of the slides. So we all know that education is a process of facilitating learning. Uh, Education is also a process of acquisition of knowledge, skills, values, habits, and other qualities that are associated with personal development. Uh, then, if we look about the education methods, obviously we know about the teaching which is mainly happening in the classroom or a laboratory. And then there can be different methods. Something like in a classroom, one may be talking about a storytelling, one may be discussing a case. It may be a case related to a, one can say in a business education about how a business was developed by some uh, first generation entrepreneurs. Okay. It may be a training outside the institution. It may be a form of a discussion or a directed research. So we all are acquainted with these different form of education methods. So I think there is no need for further elaboration on it. Uh, Now, we also know that the education frequently takes place under the guidance of educators. Uh, but the question remains that this formal way of education, uh, that means taking an admission in a school or a college or a university department and to undergo to learn something. Can a learner learn on his or her own themselves? So this is a question that we need to little deliberate further at a later stage. Uh, Education can take place in formal settings or informal settings. Uh, so any experience that has a formative effect on the way one thinks, feels, or acts may be considered as educational. So I think we go with a belief that whether it is a formal or informal way, uh, whenever the educational process is going on, uh, a learner has an experience and that has a formative effect the way he or she thinks or the way he or she feels or acts. So I think here we realize what is the importance of the education. We of course go with this belief, but it is proven now over the period of time. So, what a great role that education can play in society, in nation, and in one's own life, I think one can realize from this statement. This I need not dwell upon because we all know that the stages of formal education, preschool, primary school, secondary school, college, university, apprenticeship. Uh, Now about coming to the education reforms. Uh, People in the education and especially the teachers, I will say that quite often the society or the other part of our system, they may be criticizing us that we are not efficient, we are not providing quality education. And when it comes to the quality education, I think one will understand that it is always discussed in context of the education which is relevant in student life. Uh, so when we talk about the reforms, uh, obviously this will be one of the important point, that how one can improve the quality of education, how one can improve the efficiency of education. Uh, for how one can direct the education for solving of the problems of society at large. Then if one finds that the education is not efficient, then whatever methodologies that are used, whether these methodologies, uh, how efficient they are in terms of the learning process of the students. And hence some research in the field of education is done that with different methodology, people try to provide an evidence that one method is superior to other method in terms of the learner. Uh, Another area of the education reforms is the right to education, which has been recognized by some governments, some nation states, one can say, uh, and the United Nations. And the global initiative in terms of the sustainable development goals for promoting quality education for all. Now, this is a part of the, one can say that there are 17 sustainable development goals articulated by the United Nations General Assembly in September 2015, and they have set an agenda of sustainable development by 2030. Okay. And it calls for a new vision to address the environmental, social, and economic concerns facing the world today. So, ultimate purpose of the this UN Declaration on the Sustainable Development is to address the issues like environment, social, and economic concerns, which are very relevant to the world today. So, as a part of this concerns, 17 sustainable development goals are articulated, in which sustainable development goal 4 is on education, and SDG 4 talks about quality education for all. And one of the aspect of the new education policy that the India has adopted, it is also uh, an effort towards achieving this goal of SDG 4. Uh, Now let us look something about the progressive education. Now this progressive education is called a pedagogical movement. Once again, a method of teaching, a method of learning. Uh, and progressive education is different from traditional form of education, which is based on curricula and preparation for the university examination. Uh, progr- so progressive education finds its roots in experience. So I think traditional form of education we all are familiar because we all majority of us, if not we all, majority of us are part and parcel of this traditional form of education system, which is based on a curricula, and major goal always remains a end semester examination. And quite often we are criticized, the system is criticized in terms of an examination oriented education system which talks less about the learning. But when we talk about the progressive education, at the center point is a student, at the center point is a learner, and it has roots in the experience. So if we look at educational programs which we may consider as a progressive educational programs, we will find certain qualities which are in common. So one quality is emphasis on learning by doing hands-on projects, experiential learning, which is the title uh, in my presentation. There is a strong emphasis on problem solving and critical thinking. Group work and development of social skills. This is also one of the important feature of the progressive educational program. Then understanding and action as the goals of learning as opposed to the rote knowledge. This rote knowledge, as we all know, with which many of us face the problem, in terms of the goal of a student becomes to mug up something and to reproduce it in the examination. Okay. Whereas in the progressive education learning, it will be the understanding and the action is the goal of learning. Further, which is a common feature with progressive education programs, it is a collaborative and cooperative learning projects. Then education for social responsibility, integration of community service projects into daily curriculum, then selection of subject content by looking forward to also what skills will be used in future society. I think this is very important. With the, uh, I think in the last few years, we find that the curriculum is changing and the board of studies are active, universities are active, uh, and modifying the curriculum as per the need. So that is definitely a very plus point. Uh, but this has remained a very common criticism few years back. I don't know. I think it is not now that subject content is not changing for years. And with pharmacy education also, I'm sorry, but many of the faculty members uh, are from the pharmacy institution. I'm also a pharmacy teacher, but we observed that there are regulatory bodies and there is a need for the regulatory bodies, but there is also association of not changing the syllabi for decades. This has remained a phenomena in pharmacy education, uh, and that syllabi is compulsory. Okay, as a regulatory body, it is compulsory for us. So I think that really needs to be looked into uh, critically. De-emphasis on textbooks in favor of varied learning resources. Uh, so textbook-based learning has become very easy in a way because there may be a single textbook to be followed, but there are so many learning resources available these days with the technology, and the understanding can be improved. So in a forward-looking educational program, one will find a de-emphasis on textbooks and a variety of learning resources are to be used. There is also an emphasis on lifelong learning and social skills. Uh, Similarly, if we look at the assessment techniques in the traditional education system, as we know that again an end semester assessment technique, and many quite often it will be an assessment which is based on the uh, testing of the memory and not the problem solving skills. Uh, so instead of that, the other evaluation methods like the evaluation of the projects done by the students, uh, selection of subject content by looking forward to ask what skills will be used in future society. I think uh, sorry, I'm for that is a repetition, so I'll just skip to the next slide. Yeah. Now coming to another point is that teaching methods, that is a pedagogy. Uh, there are methods used by teacher to enable students to learn, and the teaching method strategy is determined by partly by the subject matter to be taught and partly by the nature of the learner. So definitely both aspects affect. Uh, when we talk about the learning by a student or a learner, uh, then the approaches to learn, it can be a teacher-centered approach of learning, and another will be a student-centered approach for learning. So this traditional education system, what we are talking about, a teacher-centered approach for learning. Uh, in this approach, teachers are the main authority and students are viewed as empty vessels. So the primary role of student is to receive information via lectures and direct instruction from the teachers. And the student learning is measured through test. And primary role of teacher is to pass knowledge and information to their students. So this is what we call the teacher-centered approach of learning. And quite often, I think majority of us will be associated with this type of a system now. In a student-centered approach for learning, teachers and students play an equally active role in learning process. Uh, Student learning is measured through both formal and informal forms of assessment like group projects, and students also participation, students participation in discussion. Uh, Now coming to what the title is about, that is the experiential learning. So important aspect of the teaching is to motivate people. Yeah, to pass information, that is of course the role of a teacher in a classroom and laboratory. But if as a teacher, if we fail to motivate the people, motivate the students rather to learn, and if they are not really motivated, because the learning ultimately happens with the students, with their brain. Okay, so it is an interest, and to motivate a student, that is one of the very important aspect in the learning process. The process of acquiring information through the study of a subject without the necessity for direct experiences is known as academic learning. Again, what I call earlier as a traditional way of education system. Experiential learning is a process of learning through experience. Thus, it is learning through reflection on doing. So, a student is expected to reflect, to think on what he or she does through the experiences. And dimensions of experiential learning are initiative. That means a student need to take some initiative. A student need to immerse into a world of working, and a student must have an observational skill, collection of data, and analysis of data. Uh, so aim of both academic learning and experiential learning is to install new knowledge in the learner. Academic learning does it through the classroom-based technique, whereas experiential learning actively involves the learner in a concrete experience. Experiential learning provides the benefit of improved on-the-job performance and opportunities for creativity. So this is one of the very important advantage of experiential learning, that it provides the benefit of improved on-the-job performance. Uh, and the second important advantage, one can say, opportunities for creativity, because as we just suggested that the critical thinking process is associated with the experiential learning. Uh, I wish to discuss a few examples of experiential learning. Uh, this is particularly SMC College of Dairy Science at Anand Agriculture University. This has fascinated me ever since I came to know about this, or long before. Uh, and it has made me to think that why we cannot have a similar situation in the different domain areas. Now, this SMC College of Dairy Science at Anand Agriculture University, attached with it what we call is a Vidya Dairy, and this Vidya Dairy is the first experiential learning student dairy in the country. Uh, it provides hands-on training to students of BTech Dairy Technology program. BTech Dairy Technology program is a 4 years program, and the students during that means entire 2 semesters, fifth and sixth semester, third year of the program, they spend totally in the Vidya Dairy. Okay. So this dairy is equipped with the state-of-the-art technology, and students receive experience in dairy processing and management practices in areas like process operations, energy consumption, marketing intelligence, and inventory control. So out of the 4 years of the program, one entire year is spent in a dairy which manufactures the dairy products, particularly the milk as a major product, and that is commercially utilized, marketed. And you can say that the human resources, more than 50% of the human resources are the students here who are managing this. So that is the real life experience that they are getting. Another example of the experiential learning which has been very nicely accommodated by the Pharmacy Council of India in the PharmD program, which is a 6 year programs. Now, the sixth year is the internship or residency training, including positions in specialty units. Students should independently provide the clinical pharmacy services to the allotted works. And out of this 1 year, 6 months are spent in the general medicine department and 2 months each in 3 other specialty departments. So out of the 6 years program, one entire year is spent in the hospital for learning. So this is another example of the experiential learning. Now, one of the issue that we may face, and we are facing the pharmacy institutions in particular, uh, that even for the registration as a pharmacist by degree pharmacy student or a diploma pharmacy student, a component of training either in a hospital or a manufacturing unit is a compulsory, which may vary from 6 weeks to 12 weeks period. And many educational institutions do find it difficult to place all their students in the training program. So when we find it difficult to put them in training, obviously it will be the question of spending 1 full year as an experiential learning in a pharma industry or in a hospital. for a B.Pharm student or a diploma student. Okay, or a diploma program being only the 2 years program, uh, a significant part of it, maybe one fourth of it, one semester of it, maybe spent in a hospital for an effective training, but we find it difficult. So we have to think about the solutions to such issues. That it is good, it is idealistic on my part to suggest experiential learning to incorporate in our methodology. But when it comes to the implementation, what challenges we are going to face, that is also we have to look into it, and how we can resolve those challenges. That is equally important. We should think about it, and we should find the ways out of it. Uh, One of the way of experiential learning is uh, through educational technology. We all are aware about the augmented reality and the virtual reality. So we can use this technology, augmented reality and virtual reality, to enrich learning experiences. So both AR and VR, they deal with the virtual world. Virtual reality grants a fully computer generated simulation of another world. So it is a simulation. Uh, and this simulation is through sensors, headsets, glows, etc. Uh, Augmented reality projects digital visuals which are often interactive through handheld devices such as smartphones and tablets, and hereby blending virtual and physical world. So these two technology, if we look at the expenditure on such technology in education sector, it is anticipated that it will go up to 12.6 billion US dollar by 2025. So I, as far as pharmacy domain is concerned, uh, here I would like to mention about two aspects. Uh, One is the pharmaceutical industries have come forward with this, because the pharmaceutical industries also need to train its employees. Okay. And they've started adopting the AR and VR based technology to train their technical staff. I'll present here the one. There is no purpose over here to promote any specific brand or so, but through my search, I could come across one, and I thought that to explain it, I'll use it. So this Virtuosi is a comprehensive educational platform that is developed by Quality Executive Partners, a USA-based company. Uh, 31 cloud-based episodes. They contain 60 to 90 minutes of content and demonstration broken down into 2 to 12 minute segments. Thus, it facilitates learn anywhere, at any time, at anyone's own pace, not place. I'm sorry for certain mistakes, typo. Uh, It provides ability to enter, explore, and learn in state-of-the-art virtual manufacturing and laboratory facilities. So this is one that if our students, this is about the employees training, but if we extrapolate this for our students, and suppose we have such platforms, then we will find it difficult, of course, with the regulated industries and extensively regulated industry like pharmaceutical industry, to depute our student, because they have their own genuine difficulty for the purpose of training. But if we use such AR and VR based tools, then they can create the virtual manufacturing and laboratory facilities, and where one can enter, explore, and learn. Okay. So it provides as a virtuosi provides the courses with VR experience and the courses with demonstration videos. I have listed here the few courses just for the explanation purpose, but I think the people in the pharmacy domain can understand when it comes to the manufacturing of the parenteral or the sterile products, the importance of each of the course like sterility assurance, aseptic technique and behavior in manufacturing, gowning for classified environments, sterilization process control, terminal sterilization process control, formulation of bulk product, and there is a long list as indicated that this particular company provides around 31 different courses. Okay. So the point is that experiential learning can be by deputing the students to the real manufacturing industries or the hospitals as far as pharmacy students are concerned. But there will be difficulties, but still the experiential learning can be achieved by employing the AR and VR based technology. Uh, Now, this topic which I'm presenting over here. It may look particularly the recognition of previous learning related irrelevant in context of the topic that is experiential learning, but I wish that we can have some good connect between the two. Now, Government of India has established many sector skill councils, and one of the sector skill council amongst these is the Life Sciences Sector Skill Development Council, shortly known as LSSDC. The life sciences sector include pharmaceutical sector, biopharmaceuticals, and contract research sector. Now, it is important to know the job roles which are defined. That means industry needs people with which job roles, and the sector skill councils develop in association with the industry experts and the academic experts the courses, and then there is an evaluation and the certification. So that is one of the major area of the sector skill councils. So the idea of establishing the sector skill council is to relate the education with the job roles in the uh, industries mainly, or wherever a job role is associated. Okay, it may be a banking industry, it may be a hospitality industry. Okay. So there are, I think, 14 or more than 14 sector skill councils established by the Government of India, and LSSDC is one of them. In fact, UGC has also come forward with a recommendation that these courses which are prescribed by the sector skill councils, they may be incorporated into the regular curriculum of the university education, college level education, uh, and at what level. So the different levels are defined, and the doctoral level program, that is the highest, that is defined as level 10. Uh, anyway, I do not want to deviate into that domain, but close to 9 lakhs workforce is employed with the life sciences sector in India, and they are working in different job roles. Now, when we talk about these 9 lakh people who are already employed and working in the life sciences sector, they have acquired skills through on-the-job learning or by undergoing organizational or industrial in-house training programs. This is what I wish to emphasize, that these are the people who do not have undergone any formal education. They may not have any diplomas, they may not have any degrees, but they have the expertise, and they have gained this expertise through experience and through the training programs which were organized by their respective employers in-house. So the IEEE came forward that these working professionals can be recognized and certified for their respective skills under the RPL program. Okay. So here what they will be doing is that these people already have a skill. There will be a method of evaluating their skills before certification. And if the evaluation tells that the skills are good enough for certification, they will be issued the certificate. Now, one of the important reason again for this, though it will be a little deviating from the topic, that it has come to the notice that people who have such excellent skills but don't have a certificate, uh, they find it difficult. Uh, and these certificates, which are recognized by the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, based on that, they are acceptable world over, so that we have a skilled human resources, and if they wish to migrate based on those skills uh, to another country, the another country will accept those certificates. So certification is equally important from that angle. Now, I wish to correlate this with the current topic, that is experiential learning. Here we have a group of people, a large group of people who have the skills and expertise but have not got any certificate either from a university or a board. Okay. Now, this should make us to think. If a similar example, if I just quote, if you look at a mechanic working in a garage and maybe repairing a car or a scooter, the person is not having any formal certification, maybe diploma, degree or so. So, should such a person who is not holding any degree or diploma is not excellent enough, is not good enough, whereas we consider only the diploma holders and the degree holders because we are having those certificates granted by the universities or the boards? And are we not depriving the people really possessing the skills and knowledge? Should they not have an opportunity to come forward to a college or a university level or a polytechnic level education? Because our current entry system is either the passing of an SSC, secondary school certificate, or a higher secondary school certificate. So this is one area, and this is what I wish to share with the all distinguished participants and audience, that when the NEEC was started, I think in the early 90s or so, I had an opportunity as a representative of the AR College of Pharmacy to attend a workshop program that was organized by the Sardar Patel University. And this was one of the observation of the NEEC officers who were present in that workshop. So we really need to relook at our whole education system, that there is an experience available, there is a skill set available, and people are not having a certificates, and hence they are deprived of uh, maybe the opportunities. Whereas the people having the certificates, quite often, if not always, they may not have the skills. If we ask an automobile engineer to explain in detail and open a scooter or a car and different parts, will he or she be able to do so? Who has undergone a formal education in a university or a college system. So I think we need to have a entry levels doors open also, and some opportunities uh, should be available to the people who are maybe because of certain personal, social, or the family reasons they could not avail those opportunities of coming to a college level education or a university level education or a polytechnic level education. Uh, I'm coming close to this my presentation, uh, and some of the questions that come to my mind, that does current system of technical education in India at diploma level, UG level, or PG level, does it facilitate personal development of students in terms of knowledge, skills, value, habits, and other needed qualities? Because that is considered the purpose of education. Uh, does it orient a student for solving societal problems? Does it orient student for innovations? Does it support student-centered approach to learn? These are some of the questions that come to the mind, and for which if we try to seek certain answers, I'm of the opinion that a overall drastic change from one scenario to another scenario may not serve purpose, but if we adopt a strategy of blended learning, which is a combination of academic learning plus experiential learning, I think we may expect improvement in quality and efficiency of education process, encourage innovation, and motivate students to solve societal problems. Uh, Motivate students for their personal development by adopting the experiential learning along with the academic learning. And if we are ready to accept this proposal, not how, these are the many questions, because say for example, if it is a 4 years of a BPharm program, uh, the people from other discipline can excuse me because my background being pharmacy, my discussion may be centered around the pharmacy. So people from other than pharmacy disciplines can excuse me for this. But if we look at a 4 years of a BPharm program, and if we wish to incorporate an experiential learning within it, uh, something like the BTech dairy technology students have, is the current, what we need to explore is the current system of a 6 weeks training or a 3 months training at the end of BPharm program or at the end of third year and final year of BPharm program. Is it sufficient? That's the first question that we need to ask. Is it effective at present? Can it be, can the period be improved, enhanced? And if the period has to be enhanced, how we can accommodate, uh, how we try to reduce the other courses which we go through currently in a classroom and laboratory, because we'll have to pave the way for training. And in addition, experiential learning, can we try to achieve it through the AR and VR based technology to some extent? Uh, these are few of my suggestions and few of my questions. I will appreciate if this learned audience uh, come forward with the discussions and their suggestions also. I once again thank the organizers, Dr. Naitik, for giving me this opportunity to share my viewpoints with the audience, learned audience. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now the session is open for the interaction with our eminent speaker. Session is open to interact with the eminent speaker. There are the lots of person who are doing their PhD, and if they have any query regarding their project and any kinds of the research related work, then you can directly contact with the sir. Lakshmi Lakshmi ma'am. Yeah, Aparna Johri ma'am.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. This is Arpana Johri. Actually, this was really very informative session. And the last thing that you mentioned, sir, about the technical education, technical things. So, how innovation we can involve in technicality, technical subjects. How can we so while teaching to the students? How can we innovate the practices, inculcate the practices into the students?
Okay. Thank you for this query, madam. Yeah. The question is related to innovation and how during the routine subject teaching, we can inculcate the tendency to innovate, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm. I think we are mainly dealing with the classroom level and the laboratory level education right now. Uh, unless and until if we incorporate a component of critical thinking, that is a one. And before critical thinking, what will come is the analysis. Okay.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion, for innovation, these are the two important facets. And are we making any effort through our pedagogical approach or through the subject matter uh, uh, to develop the critical thinking and the analytical technique, analytical mind to analyze the data? Once we do it, I think the innovation will slowly follow. Okay. Another important part is uh, that observation. If the education is confined only to the classroom within the four walls of the institution, and where the classroom and the laboratories will be there or the workshops will be there, uh, but experiential learning for solving the societal problems, uh, can we take them to the this is the one when we look at the societal problems. A student in an institution like the institution of rural management, IRMA,
Yes, sir.
yeah, they do spend their time and a reasonable time with the people in the rural area. Okay. Now, this experience itself will make them uh, to learn themselves. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same experience we can share it in a classroom. That is a one way of gaining the information. But to go for a self-realization through the actual facing it, uh, so that is a way I think we can try to incorporate the experiential learning, and ultimately that will foster the way for the analysis, critical thinking, and then further thinking in terms of the solutions. So, which may be the innovations, which
So,
may lead
sir,
to.
yes, sir. Thank you so very much, sir. Actually, by your ideas, whatever you have just now informed about this technical innovation practices or innovative practices, actually, I was thinking ki if any practical subject is there, So those practical subjects have set practical experiments, and everything is children are experiencing by learning, but innovation does not involve in that. And if we are going to innovate the things, that may or might result something else. So sometimes it happens that technological characteristics, these are very important. So innovations, innovating something in a new way, that is maybe the application based, or maybe we should try first of all and then we should apply this. So quite possible that adoption of such kind of new tools, new technologies, first of all by the teachers, and of course then we are making the students or the learners to learn through that innovations. So in this way, I think we can drive these ideas to the pupil, to the students, and later on to the other leaders also. So that might be they can explore the possible ways to achieve best technical innovative methods.
Uh, yeah, I do accept it's a good suggestion in terms of, I mean, promoting the innovation. Only my area of concern is that there is a domain specificity. So I think within the domain specificity, say for example, if I just try to explain it, there was a time when the people in the pharmacy institution started learning computer programming and start developing computer programs for solving their problems related to the pharmacokinetics.
Mm.
Now, this is the adaptation that is appreciable, not at all, nothing wrong in it. Okay. But can there be another viewpoint that should we devote our time in terms of learning the computer programming and then developing a program to resolve our problem? And that is available. So I think domain specificity, when we talk, to what extent one should diversify within the domain, how we can promote the critical thinking within the domain, how we can promote the analysis. Okay. And
Okay.
that is a one of my viewpoint. Learning definitely the vast, because it is the world is changing very fast, so we cannot remain in isolation also. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so very much. It was really very informative session.
Yeah,
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Lakshmi ma'am, anybody else wants to interact with the sir? Thank you very much, sir. You have given a very nice session, and sir, you covered the many points: educational methods, teaching, training, storytelling, discussion, direct research, as well as you have talked about the quality education and Agenda 2030, progressive education, student center, and you have covered the comprehensive education. As I want to say that beyond the as a speaker, sir is good, human, and polite and very honest man. And when I need some kinds of the help, he always ready to help not only the me but the person who come for the positive work. So we really, sir, thanks to you from your busy schedule, you have given us a time.
Thank you, Dr. Naitik, and I consider it is my duty as a teacher, duty whenever the ARCP calls me, and whatever little I have gained through this my academic journey, I hope it is useful. Uh, thank you so much, Dr. Naitik and everyone. Yeah,
Yeah, sir. Thank you very much once again.
yeah,
We need to take a one snap with the participant, if you allow.
yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay. Gita madam is there. How are you, madam?
Okay, sir, I had taken the snaps, and in this FDP, sir, participants from the various state of the entire region of the India, from Delhi, Uttar Pradesh to the Tamil Nadu, and you can say the Kanyakumari has joined our FDP.
That's good. We also had an opportunity to, connect to everyone within India. That is a really good point, particularly this Atal Academy and online platform. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you
If
very
you
much, sir.
permit, may I leave now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Now, there is some instruction about tomorrow session for the participant. Yes, ma'am. Maharashtra also. I did my study from the Maharashtra, so how can I forget? Me भूलणार नहीं Maharashtra. And my wife is also from the Maharashtra, Nasik.